located here in
Oh, you're
Columbus.
located.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So it was easy, no travel for you.
Well,
You're the only one who slipped in.
getting through Columbus isn't always the easiest.
Well, it's easy to get from New York, I'll tell you that.
Well, you know, they were supposed to fix the lights so that they're coordinated.
Oh, and they haven't done it yet?
Well, I got up until I got to one corner, I was doing
Okay.
fine. And
Have you lived in Columbus your whole life or no?
No, I'm originally from Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I moved here, let's see, 13 years ago. 12 years.
Okay. Welcome to Atlanta AM, and this morning I'm joined by Joe Sandri,
Yes.
who is the manager of custom specialty chemicals at Callaway. Is that right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your job and what's so exciting about your job at Callaway.
Well, what we do in our department is we, as the name implies, we make custom specialty chemicals for other companies. And we take the technology that's been developed within Callaway and apply it to making these other types of products. And what's exciting about it is that we get involved in just about any industry that you can imagine. And we get to use the chemistry and all the knowledge, all the resources within Callaway to do this. And we, as I say, get into all kinds of different industries, and we get to develop new products, do new things.
Yeah, in looking at the Welcome to Callaway brochure that they have there, they said something about making over 700 different chemical products. How do you manage all those chemicals? I mean, why aren't there, are there a lot of problems in handling these things? I mean, 700 different chemicals.
Well, those are, they talk about the other businesses that have so many products. We have in our business maybe 15 or 20 products. But in those other businesses, they have a lot of products, but many of them are simple variations of, you know, a handful.
Out of those products that you say that you deal with on a daily basis, which ones would be the most volatile, or the ones that would cause the most harm to communities in the area and things like that?
Well, most of the products we make are taken by the companies we make them for, and they convert them into products that are more friendly. For example, motor oil additives, things that go into
but
that.
I'm talking about, you know, the other ones. You know, what's one of the most dangerous chemicals that you're customly making?
Well, probably the one area that has to be handled with extra care are the glycinyl ethers.
Yeah.
But we have what we call a...
Where are they made?
Beg your pardon?
Where are they made?
They're made right
here in Columbus?
Right here in Columbus.
And they're transported right through the local towns?
Well, they're transported, yes, in drums and in tank wagons.
Okay. Any problems?
We've never had any problems.
Never?
Never.
In looking at the brochure, they also talked about the ISO certification. What's the big deal about that?
That is, what that indicates is that we've been certified by an international organization that says we have quality programs in place, that we handle things in an organized manner to minimize any errors, we document everything, and that we're recognized as having met a whole bunch of criteria, which indicates a quality operation.
Do you have much dealings with the water treatment area end of the business?
No.
No. In looking at Callaway, what would you say is the future?
Future looks bright. All of these businesses have a lot of potential.
Things look good.
Things look good.
Okay, Joe, thank you very much. All right.
Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, as we continue our look at the chemistry industry, chemical industry, we have Joe Sandri. Joe is a custom specialty chemicals manager for Callaway Chemicals, based in Columbus, Georgia. Welcome, Joe.
Welcome. Thank you. Good to be here.
Good. One of the growing areas for the chemical industry, especially for Callaway, is that of outsourcing. You're manufacturing hundreds of chemicals, over 700 now, for various companies across the country and I assume across the world. You can't be a specialist in everything, Joe. How do you maintain a knowledgeable staff when dealing with such vast quantities of chemicals?
Well, we specialize in growing our custom specialty chemical business off of our core technologies. We have 4 business areas within Callaway, and we've been in business since 1952. During that time, we've developed a very solid core technology, and we build off of this technology base to supply chemicals to various industries for major companies, and you would recognize some of these. These are Fortune 50 companies, Shell, Exxon, Dow Chemical, and we produce chemicals for them, and we have an outstanding record. We get a lot of repeat business from word of mouth recommendations. We consistently meet customer requirements. Of course, we've recently been certified ISO 9001, and this...
So you obviously have a lot of safety mechanisms there in place. You just listed quite a few, but still, aren't you asking for trouble when you have a limited workforce and so many chemicals?
No, because we know how to handle the chemicals. As a matter of fact, Dow has given us an award, a safety award, the first time they've given it outside of their own company. And we have a world-class handling facility for a very difficult to handle chemical. And so this demonstrates that we know what we're doing and how to handle these chemicals.
A lot of acquisitions take place in the chemical industry. Talks were recently called off with Lion Industries, but you have recently acquired Mayo.
That's correct, yes.
Is that also to expand this outsourcing?
Yes, this adds a whole new area of technology that we can build off of, and we can utilize Mayo's expertise in this area so that we know how to handle these materials safely and intelligently.
What are they bringing that you didn't have before?
They're bringing the ability to make chelating agents, which is a group of class of compounds that we use but we haven't made before. They give us the ability to have glass equipment. We only have stainless steel. And they give us the ability to handle some very unique raw materials that we didn't have access to before.
All right. Joe, we are out of time. Tomorrow we'll be having Joe Richardson on the show to continue talking about the chemical industry.
Thank you for allowing me to tell you a little bit about Callaway Chemical.
All right, thank you.
Let's see. Tomorrow, I thought you...
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, and meet our guest, Joe Sandri, Joe, manager of custom specialty chemicals for a company called Callaway. And Joe, we welcome you to our program today.
It's great to be here, Jack.
Joe, you must be the most benevolent of all companies. From what I understand, you take products that are somewhat proprietary and you give them to your competitors. Is there any sense in this?
Well, Jack, I'm glad you brought that subject up. It isn't quite the way you make it sound. We custom manufacture products for our competitors who are sometimes our customers. In fact, some of our best customers compete with us in other fields. And we pride ourselves on having built a large chemical technology base. We've been in business since 1952. We're the best in everything we do. And I always like to say, let the experts custom make your specialty chemicals for you, because we have the expertise and the knowledge to handle difficult to handle chemicals. And we have an outstanding safety record. We have not lost time with an accident for over 10 years. In fact, Dow Chemical has given us an award, first time they've done it outside their own company, for our expertise and safety in handling very difficult to handle raw material.
What do you mean, if I may ask, by specialty chemicals? A lot of people watching are probably confused by this phrase.
Yes, so specialty chemicals are those chemicals that are used for a specialty application, for a special performance, whereas a commodity chemical anybody could make, and one commodity manufacturer's product is just like everybody else's. For example, gasoline is a commodity chemical, and You know, one person's gasoline is no different from another
Oh, you
person's
should tell, so
gasoline.
you're telling me now that mobile gasoline that I pay more for because they tell me it's going to make my engine cleaner really isn't true?
No, what they say is absolutely true, but it probably isn't any better than Shell gasoline or Exxon gasoline. In fact, sometimes they produce for one another, and just because you're buying out of a Shell pump doesn't mean it's Shell gasoline. It could be Exxon gasoline made to Shell specifications.
See, we're learning something about that industry today, too. Your whole industry has been challenged. I see you've got 12 years of service to Callaway. You are a PhD in chemistry.
Yes.
And as you look back and look at your industry, aren't there times when you want to kick the wall or punch the wall and say, why is our industry bringing so much shame to, why is what we're doing bring so much shame to our industry?
Well, we've had our challenges in the past, Jack, but I'm extremely proud to be in the chemical industry today because we've initiated programs to really develop a better living through chemistry. We've voluntarily initiated programs to produce cleaner air. Our company particularly makes the chemicals that produces clean water. Our parent company produces chlorine, and chlorine is used in 60% of the medicines and pharmaceuticals that we use. Without chlorine, you couldn't have clean water. Our industry has provided excellent agricultural chemicals, which is...
Mr. Sandri, we're just about out of time, but it's also chlorine and its byproducts that have created a hole in the ozone layer that might ruin civilization.
That's a point that's still in dispute, Jack. There are people who say that that is not quite the case.
And we're out of time. Our guest, Joe Sandri, Manager of Custom Specialty Chemicals at Callaway.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Joe. You wouldn't consider taking the evening news over.
Callaway Chemicals, thanks very much for joining me on Market Wrap.
My pleasure to be here, Jack.
Got a question for you. You are in charge of specialty chemical manufacture.
That's correct, yeah.
Is it true that you manufacture for not only some of your major clients, but that you are actually manufacturing for your competition?
Yes, that's true, yeah. And it's very interesting, but we manufacture materials for our competition in other areas that we're working in.
Yeah.
We also buy raw materials from these same competitors.
How do you sell them on the idea of doing their work for them?
Well, we convince them that we are experts in what we do. I always like to say, let the experts make your specialty chemicals for you.
So are you guys that much better than your competition?
Oh, yeah. So we have a technology base that we've built on since 1952 when we were first started into this business. So we have a lot of expertise, both from a technology point of view and the manufacturing point of view, to make a wide variety of chemicals.
And what kind of revenues does this business generate?
This business generates about $20 million a year,
Uh-huh.
and it's a good portion of our
And has
profits.
it been holding steady, or are we looking
It's
at
been
at
growing.
growth?
Actually, this business, custom specialty business, started from scratch about 7 or 8 years ago, and we've grown to 20 million. So we think that's unique to us and to our customers, and we make to their specific
What are
specifications.
some of the other companies that do this in competition with you?
Some of the other companies that actually some of our customers are also competing in the same area.
I'm confused.
Yeah. Yes. Well, part of it is that they have got their business is growing, and rather than invest in new equipment, they'll give this type of they'll outsource their custom specialty chemical requirements.
Is
to
this
companies
a
like
high
us.
margin business for you?
This is yes, and we pick and choose, of course. I
Right.
mean, you can get into low margin products. We like to get into the high margin products.
Okay.
Low volume, high margin.
Great.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that I should be asking about this business?
Well, I'd just like to emphasize that we're the best in what we do. We have an outstanding safety record, and we're ISO 9001 certified.
Safety? Why do you bring up safety? I didn't bring up safety.
Well, that's always on people's minds, and I thought, I'm surprised you didn't ask that question.
Yeah, well, no, I know you have a good safety
We have
record.
an outstanding safety record.
I wish we could talk about safety, but we're running out of time. Thanks very much, Joe Sandri, for coming on.
My
Market Wrap.
pleasure.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.